So I want to talk a little bit about scents. In my weekly vibe videos, I create a vibe using a beverage as scent and a makeup look. And I always talk about a scent every week. I really enjoy perfumes and body mists. But I haven't ever talked about them just the scent. So why not? Let's do that. I don't have enough to say to just talk about one perfume. So I'm going to talk about three today. Um, but I thought, they should go together in some way. So it's three different takes on rose. I'm going to talk about Salt and Stone Black Rose and Oud, Cyklar's newest Rose Bud, and Ouai Fragrance Mist in Melrose Place. Um, I guess I'll just do them in the order that I just announced them, which is probably from darkest to lightest. So all of these perfumes have rose as a prominent note in the perfumes, but they couldn't be more different than each other. The first one that I'm going to talk about, Salt and Stone. Well, first off, two of these are body mists and one is an oil perfume. Um, So the perfume is very concentrated, and the body mists are meant to be used kind of a lot. Um, and that fades fairly quickly. So, two very different forms of fragrance. Um, I love the idea of a body mist in that I like to be able to spray more than one spritz on me and not feel that something is precious because it costs hundreds of dollars for an ounce. I like having a larger quantity of it that I can put in my hair and maybe on my body. But the reality of body mists is a lot of times they smell cheap. Neither of these do, in my opinion. So the Salt and Stone, these are like the best body mists out there, in my opinion. They smell like perfumes. They don't smell like something that is cheap or meant for children. They're sophisticated, complex, um, but they're in 3 or 4 ounce containers as opposed to, let's see, 3.4 ounces, so 100 milliliters, as opposed to 1 ounce. And this is like $45. So reasonably priced. Not nearly as cheap as like a body mist from Target or Bath and Body Works, but still, I've had this for a year, I think, and I've used that much of it. And I don't use it every day, but I use it probably at least once a week. I like to use body mist when I get out of the shower and spray my hair and spray my body. Um, and then when I'm drying my hair, I'm smelling the scent and it's pleasant. I like it. Okay, so back to what this smells like. So the Salt and Stone website says Black Rose and Oud is bouquets of black roses and lilies bloom as you climb, engulfing your senses. Warm rays beat down, refreshing, powerful, sensual. A wave of deep, warm oud meets fresh vetiver, clove, and amber invoke forgotten memories cascading down to float finally atop woody cedar. The top notes are black rose and lily of the valley. Heart notes are oud and mahogany. And the base notes are vetiver, santal, and amber. This is a woodsy rose, and it is not a pretty rose. It is a like dark, like midnight rose. That's the best way that I can describe it. Um, the first feelings I have when I smell the scent are wood and roses. Um, and not like just picked roses, more like ones that I happen to smell that were blooming um, late at night. It's almost a smokiness to this scent. It's not overly feminine. It's kind of the like a gender neutral rose, um, with like old woods, like a sexy, sophisticated person in a library, with big wooden old shelves and old leathery books. That's what this is. Okay, so perfume number one for the adult in all of us. The next one, Rosebud from Cyklar. This is what they say about their scent. Fresh and verdant, earthy and intoxicating, a modern floral fragrance that creates a hypnotic aura of undone, effortless sexiness. The notes are top black currant, bergamot, pink pepper. The mid notes are rhubarb, hemp, violet, and rose. And the dry down is mate, sandalwood, and musk. Anybody who knows me is not surprised that I like this perfume because it has um, pink pepper as a note, which all of my favorite perfumes have pink pepper in them. I also tend to like violet a lot. Um, and I like sandalwood, so not surprising that I like this. So this, in my opinion, is more of a this is still a sophisticated rose. Um, it's not just rose. You heard there were all those other notes. Only one of them is rose. I definitely smell that black currant and the rhubarb, and that there's a fruitiness, but it's a tart fruitiness. And I think both black currant and rhubarb give that scent. Um, there is a greenness to this, um, and this is an oil, so it is a much more concentrated scent that is supposed to last all day. So this smells like a freshly picked rose. Like it is at its like peak of perfection. It is not old. It is not young. It is like um, garden fragrant rose. You can definitely smell the bergamot there as well, in that there is that citrus that makes it seem very fresh. It's a very fresh and clean rose. This is also, I would say it is also gender neutral in that it is not overly feminine. It is definitely rose. So you would have to be, if you are a male, have to be okay with the smell of roses. But it smells like um, you went for a walk in the garden and picked a rose. And that garden also was growing rhubarb and currants and lemons, and there were some other flowers around, and somebody had just mowed the grass. That's what that smells like. So I think it's more daytime, but would be fine for night as well. And then the last one, we've got Ouai, Melrose Place. Um, they have had the perfume for a while, but they just recently came out with the body mist, which made me very excited. Um, because I found the perfume too much of this scent. I love the scent, but the perfume was too much. So I wanted something that was a little bit lighter and fresher, but the same scent. They describe it as being smell like you're almost famous with Melrose Place hair and body mist with notes of rose, lychee, berry, and pink peppercorn. This velvety, rich, and rosy scent will take you away to LA in just a spray. Yeah, that's annoying. Um, but it's very tongue in cheek, which I think this scent is as well. Um, I know I said that the rosebud was a day scent. This is definitely a day scent. This is not a night scent. This is a like outside young person having fun, sparkly rose scent. Um, the notes it lists for top notes champagne, pink peppercorn, berry, and lychee. The middle notes peony, rose, freesia, jasmine, bergamot. And the base notes amber, sandalwood, white musk, and cedarwood. So all three of these have rose, and all of them have woods in them. And that's probably why I've chosen these rose scents to own instead of other rose scents. Um, I like the groundedness of having that wood note there. This one, the champagne and the lychee and berry really come forward with the rose to make it lighter and sparkly and happy. The fact that there are other flowers there, peonies and freesia and jasmine, those are all far more feminine smelling flowers, in my opinion, than like a violet would be. Um, so this is not a unisex scent. This is girly. It's pink girly. Um, but it just smells like you can't have a bad day and smell the scent. It smells like happiness to me. Um, and so it's the prettiest part of the rose. Thinking about it, I think the black rose and oud is the most adult. The rose bud is kind of like middle of the road, and the Melrose Place is like I'm 20 and I'm fun. Um, Not to say that a young person can't enjoy the other two. Um, and an older person might want to have that youth scent. But that's how I define them as being different from each other. So, three different versions of a wonderful flower that is very versatile.